This hangout is now live. Ready?
Ready.
Coming up on UPH.
Gotta catch 'em, some of them.
Nice shot.
Smashing colored rocks together.
And more on this episode of Unbelievable Power Hour.
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Unbelievable Power Hour, your mind-blowing source for gaming previews, news, and adventure. I'm Dan Don, and with me today is my gaming bro, Aaron Wiesinger.
Hello, bro.
Hello. Welcome to yet another episode of the UPH show.
Thank you.
How you been?
I've been great. Been real good. I'm gonna play show and tell right off the bat.
All right.
Number 1, Bravely Default.
Nice. For the 3DS. He's holding it up
right.
to the camera for the audio
One more
listeners.
time. There you go. Whoa.
Whoa, and now he's doing a 3D effect.
Number 2,
All right.
Pokemon Y.
Oh, somebody got some games this week.
Yeah. Somebody got some games today.
Oh, just today. Wow.
Yeah, a couple hours
did you
ago.
order those a while ago?
Yeah, that one. And also,
Nerd.
I just want
Oh,
to say it's Nerf or nothing.
It's a Nerf case for your 3DS?
Yeah,
That is insane.
yeah, it's awesome.
Why did you get one? How did you get one? I've never heard of a Nerf case.
I'll show you. Look how much thicker it makes the 3DS.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna have to agree
It's
with you
really
there.
comfortable to hold with this thing.
How much was that baby?
I got it last year, maybe like 15, 20 bucks.
Nice. And it's
Yeah.
official Nerf. It's not fake
Oh,
Nerf.
yeah.
Nerf.
It is full on
that
Nerf.
baby out.
Yeah,
Nerf herder.
yeah.
No?
Yeah, I love it, and I am also really stoked to get rocking on these games. I have popped in the cartridge for Bravely Default, the stupidest name for a supposedly really
For
good
a Final
game.
Fantasy game.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll be doing that this weekend.
I
a
still
lot.
can't get past that Nerf case, and because personally, I think portable electronics are too skinny.
Yeah,
My
I don't
thumbs
want
cramp
it
up
to
a
be.
little. Yeah.
Yeah,
They just came out with the PS Vita Slim in North
Mhm.
America, and it's too skinny as it is. I want that
Yeah.
big chunky Game Gear.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you look a lot of the cases on Amazon, they are making them much, much bigger. Like, it adds like 3 times to the size of like the 3DS cases.
Does the Nerf case feel solid? Like it's not a cheap piece of...
Yeah, I mean, like, I got it because it got really good reviews, and it fits on there really well, and it adds like enough thickness to it that it's comfortable, and like, it's not so bulky like some of the really sort of ridiculously sized ones that you can sort of see on camera maybe. Like,
yeah.
the red is where the actual 3DS cuts off. So
It's enough
at
room
least,
for the
like,
stylus to get through.
yeah, I mean, it basically doubles the thickness of it.
Yeah. Doubles the thickness. That was like one of the advertised benefits of using it. Right?
Yeah.
Would I
That
be
was
able
right
to
in
fit
the
that
box.
in my front overalls pocket?
If you have huge baggy overalls, then yes.
Well, what other kind of overalls would I wear?
I don't
I
know.
do, however, tight roll the legs for my
Okay.
huge baggy overalls, so it is weird looking.
It's you can do the thing where you roll up a cigarette box into your sleeve
With your
and
3DS?
with the 3DS, like yeah, there you go.
So you're kind of mixing like the Fonz and Ultra like nerd. So
Yeah.
it's like cool nerd, I guess. Oh, I
Nerd
like
is the
that.
new cool. Yeah.
Did you ever wear overalls?
I did. In elementary school, I very distinctly remember a pair of overalls that I really liked. They were awesome.
I had I wore one pair of overalls.
Mm-hmm.
They were like Urban Street or something like that was the name of them. They were white, so you can already imagine how terrible that is.
Like stonewashed?
No, they were white.
Oh, okay.
And they were hand-me-downs because
Okay.
I didn't have any cool clothes, but my brother was old. He's 7 years older than me, and he had some cool clothes that he would get himself.
Yeah.
They were hand-me-downs. Now, the only problem is I'm 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
My bro is 6'3".
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
So you can imagine how his overalls fit on me in junior
Like a
high.
glove.
I looked
man.
ridiculous.
That's
But
awesome.
I still was sporting them like I was the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another question about pants and apparel. Did you have parachute pants?
I did not.
Okay.
Again, my brother did. I did not. So, yeah, unfortunately. Did you?
I had a pair of what they called sport jeans, and it was basically parachute pants. They were jeans, but they had like an elastic ring around the cuff, and it would then snug it right into your ankle and give you that parachute pant look that everyone loved so much.
Did you ever have Ruse? Like the tennis shoe Ruse? They had
No.
they had the kangaroo mascot, and
Yeah.
they had pockets on the side,
Mhm.
and you could hide things in the pockets, and
Pockets
like
on the shoes?
yeah, pockets on the shoes, on the side of the shoes, and you could put like firecrackers in them.
Okay. I see where they get the name Ruse. That's clever.
Yeah, kangaroos. Yeah, it is really clever.
I get it.
So, anything interesting going on this week? Otherwise, besides your pants?
Mostly just pants news. I got my. If you're seeing the broadcast, I've got a mic arm right here, the Rode PSA 1, which now.
I am a fan of the Rode PSA 1.
Yeah, we are mic arm brothers. And I successfully hooked up my blue snowball to the arm. So if you do have a blue snowball and you want an awesome mic arm for it, which it costs double the microphone, is if you are looking to upgrade just that, it's a good buy.
If you would like your $50 microphone to dangle from a $100 arm, it's actually not a bad price. I'm surprised that this is the Rode PSA 1 is pretty much the podcasting standard for a home studio kind of thing, and I'm surprised that it is so cheap. I would think $99. That ain't bad.
Yeah, it seems like it's sort of hard to find. Like I was going around. Yeah, but I mean, like they have like no shortage of electronics. And when I went to get my PS4, a month ago, and I went to they have all these specific audio shops and a ton of high-end audio, and asking about this arm, there's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they would look it up, and they're like, oh yeah, I see, but we just don't get it anymore.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't think. I would think you'd have to go into a real specialty shop to get one of these babies.
Yeah.
We have a store called Norman's that's all camera and video equipment. I think they'd be the only ones that would have it. It would be that specialized.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I just picked mine up on Amazonians, Amazons. Before we move on to the games, speaking of Amazon, did you hear about Amazon picking up Comixology?
I did. We were, yeah.
What's your impression of that?
Probably good, because I don't believe that Comixology was necessarily like really raking in the bucks.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for comics to be distributed on that platform, since, just like the way of the magazines, their real life format is probably, not doing as well.
The biggest complaint out of comics readers, a lot of comic readers use iPads.
Yeah.
So their iOS device, and the ability to make in-app purchases was removed in their new app. They released a new app to replace their old one, and completely removed in-app purchases.
Ew. What do you think about that?
I think it, from the perspective of being someone that would make impulse buys, like I'd see a sale and, I'll try that.
Sure.
It's 99 cents, I'll buy it. I mean, that kind of stinks from that perspective, but I don't blame them. I really, there's a ton of people complaining that, you're not going to get my money now. And it's just like, you guys, come on, you're kidding. You're on your computer all the time. You just have to change your habits.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming eventually comic purchasing will happen in Amazon.
Right. I mean,
so I just think they're overreacting in my mind.
I don't know. I think like it is like a not a big pain. It is a pain, and it will stop some people from using it. But I mean, overall, I think it's probably worth it for them to be hooked up through Amazon now.
I think for new readers though, it's not going to be a pain because it'll be a normal thing.
Yeah,
I have the Kindle app, and I didn't use the Kindle app when you were able to make in-app purchases with it. I believe you were towards the beginning, and I've just always gone to Amazon, bought a book, and it's sent to my iPad.
Yeah, because you never had a Kindle.
Not before. I actually have a Kindle now, but
okay.
I still use my iPad to read when I do read.
Reading. What's that all about?
And then Audible is the same thing. I have an Audible account, and I go to Audible and I download some books. And so, and that's, I just think it's going to be more deliberate now. You're like, hey, I want to check out some comic books. I'm going to go to Comixology and do it. Yeah. They did the math. They know. I mean, they're giving Apple 30%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Chunk.
Yeah.
And, for some people, for some, software developers, that's a chunk that they're willing to make because they need to. Amazon doesn't have to make it, and, frankly, Comixology probably needs it, just to make some money.
Yeah.
It's the other issue, though, that I have with people complaining about it. How much these comic artists are not making a lot of money. A very, very small percentage of them probably do make money. I would guess like maybe a Greg Capullo, somebody like that, probably makes decent money. But that's probably because of all the other notoriety he gets for being Greg Capullo. Todd McFarlane, same thing. Todd McFarlane has toys and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but these artists and writers, these artists and writers are not making a lot of money. And we're getting these comics for so much cheaper because they have sales all the time. And most people shop when those sales are on. So it's like, you're still going to get those sales and be thankful. I mean, you're getting that stuff so much cheaper than what it's probably actually worth or worth making, to make some money. So,
sure.
Stop your whining. All right, everybody. Let's get on to our weekly playlist. I think I kind of want that to be the weekly playlist theme. That just screams weekly playlist.
Man, you know what is screaming in my ears is some weird feedback. I don't know what is going on.
Ew. Is it from my end?
I don't know. It sounds all. Yeah, it's scratchy and stuff. Well,
Are you
whatever.
able to continue?
Yes.
All right. So I'll start this week.
Yeah. What do you got? What you been playing?
It's time for a weekly playlist where we talk about the games we've been playing all week. Not all the games, because you don't want to hear me talk about Hearthstone every week.
I do.
I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
Still.
We played last weekend.
Yeah,
and it was
we
awesome.
did. We did a let's play, a head-to-head let's play, and that was fun.
Yeah. I totally won both rounds. I mean,
No,
it was really good.
What?
That's what happened.
You're misremembering.
Oh.
That'd be weird. This week, I beat Rayman Origins.
Congrats.
I love Rayman Origins.
I know.
And I'm gonna have to challenge you because you played it and you were not a fan.
Yeah.
How much did you play? You played Rayman Legends though, not or was it Origins?
Yeah. I think it was Legends, and I played maybe about a half an hour.
You know, I think this is something where I'm gonna have to say you're gonna have to give it a little more time, I think.
Yeah. Well, if you'll remember from that episode, I told you that I would be willing to give it a little more time, and you said, you know what, don't bother, just stop. Because you were so offended.
That does sound like me.
But I will. I'll try.
What didn't you like about it?
It felt sort of mushy, like the controls.
That. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
I completed it, and I'm not sure how long it took me. I really, after finishing the game, have a greater appreciation for the series. Like, I would say that as far as the platforming was concerned, at one point I was like, it's not the best platforming I've played. It's not the worst. But I really love the art, I love the characters, I love the level designs, I love the music. Just the complete package I love.
Yeah.
But after playing all of the levels, I would say that I do have a greater appreciation now for the actual platforming itself.
Really?
There's a really nice variety in the platforming. Yeah. Like, there were some... I think at times it was like, this isn't challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go along, it got to frustration levels almost equal to our Little Big Planet last level experience.
Right.
Like that, it took me a half hour to an hour to beat one level.
Okay, sure.
Yet there was that satisfaction when I did actually beat it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was determined. Like, it felt like, all right, I can get this, and I just have to tie it together right.
Yeah.
So that challenge was definitely there. There was a little bit... I was never a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog style of platforming. I did not like Sonic at all. So that was what I was trying to reconcile when I was playing it, because I think there's kind of a blend between some Sonic style and some Mario style platforming.
Uh-huh.
And so that was what I wasn't sure if I liked. Now I decided I like it.
Yeah. See, and I liked Sonic back in the day. I don't know if I would like it now, but I sort of felt like the same way. Sorry, the feedback is crazy. I feel the same way about what is it, Mercenary Kings, and it's like there's that slight delay.
What is the feedback coming in?
It sounds like crazy, twitchy, squeaky noises. And it, even when you're not talking, like right now, it's going nuts. I don't know what's going on. So, like in Mercenary...
Let's take a second to fix this then.
Okay.
We'll be right back, everybody. But yet, if you're watching live, we're still on.
Yeah, there you go.
Did it just kick in?
It's been getting steadily worse.
How about
There.
now?
Perfect. Ugh.
Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's totally gone.
And you can hear me fine.
I can hear you fine.
All right. Okay,
Okay.
good. Sweet, we're back.
All right, hey.
Continue.
So, like in Mercenary Kings, there's that sort of half-second delay when you hit jump and then you
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that extreme in Rayman,
Mm-hmm.
but I did feel a sort of mushiness that I didn't really care for. And
I think
yeah,
I
I like
see
sort
what
of
you're
like
saying.
yeah. I mean, I like Mario and like Rogue Legacy and like Mega Man, like really sort of tight jumping. Like when you hit the button, that's exactly when everything happens, and I feel like I got a really good sense of how I should jump, and it just felt a little more mushy in Rayman. And that was like probably one of my biggest complaints. I mean,
See,
it's
now when you're saying mushy, though, I feel like I felt like Mega Man. I can't stand
okay.
that style because it's like you drop.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you are a 1,000-pound robot, and you drop like one.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that to me before when I was like, I don't like Mega Man because of this, and then you said, well, that's kind of what the uh, gameplay should be like because you're a robot. And I think it's kind of the same way with Rayman. You're this floppy, weird, armless creature,
Right.
and it's very animated. And I think some of that might be the mushiness.
Okay.
It's that style,
Yeah.
like when the way you're running and you're kind of just flopping around, and so you've got that cartoon style jump rather than Mario somehow jumping without bending his knees.
Right.
Kind of thing,
Right.
and he can jump 100 feet in the air
Sure.
by running and springing.
I mean, it is a really pretty game, and Raymond does a really great job with their art style and everything. So I mean, I would be willing to give it a little bit of a longer try. I think I got it really cheap, and so I just didn't bother.
The thing that I
going
love
very much
about
fast.
Rayman Legends is that it contains 40 levels from Rayman Origins. That's
Oh.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that is just like
Free game?
Free game. They remastered the levels and that kind of stuff, so it's like that's just a real great bonus that they didn't have to include. But
Yeah.
overall, I just really like my experience with Rayman, and I think, like I said, I appreciate it more now after getting through more of the game, and wow, it's just like the time trials and all that stuff in that game.
hmm
It's a brutal game.
Yeah.
It is a challenging platformer.
And I would also say that you are on a roll for beating games because you just beat the Mario game last week,
Yeah, yeah.
and then this week it's Rayman. What's next week, Mr. Dahan?
I've got a couple that are. I think I'll be beating Tomb Raider sometime in the next month or so.
Do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep that
I'm on a
trend
roll,
going.
and I go to howlongtobeat.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that to keep track of the games that I beat and when.
Yeah.
I really love that site too. Just
Sort of
it'll tell you
measure
how
yourself
just an
against it.
estimate of how long it takes to beat games.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish more games would keep a log of how long you've been playing them.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Like in like an in-game log, because Steam does that for you.
Yes, but if you accidentally leave your game open,
Like what
Steam
happened
will just
with
yeah.
your wife.
I did it once for The Walking Dead, so I have like 100 hours in The Walking Dead.
Oh.
I'm like, it only takes like an hour and a half to beat an episode.
What is wrong with this guy?
Also this week, I've been playing Chrono Trigger.
I think it's Chrono? I don't know.
I think it's Chrono.
Yeah.
So I've been playing this on my Vita.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about
I
it.
really like RPGs on the Vita. Handheld RPGs are the way to go.
Yeah.
Chrono
I think
Trigger.
that's like JRPG, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is the JRPG of JRPGs, and it was on sale on PS Plus for like $250 or something like that.
Yeah. Something
And so,
ridiculous.
yeah. So I ended up buying it, and it's cross-buy, so I have it for my Vita, I have it for my PS3. It's not out on the PS4 yet, but it should be coming soon. I think they just announced that they'll be bringing PS1 emulation to the PS4.
Oh, awesome.
I really enjoy it. It's the 16-bit era graphics. It was originally released on the SNES, and then it came out later on the PS1. They had added some cutscenes to it, and so far I'm probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I like it. I like the combat. I like some of it is like the way you party up and things like that. I used to play Phantasy Star on the Genesis, and reminds me a little bit of that. But I did have like some frustrating moments because they don't hold your hand in that game at all. Like,
what do you mean?
A lot of games they tell you specifically, you need to go here now.
Right.
This is where you need to go to complete your next quest.
Right.
This game does not do that. This game
you figure it out.
You have to do a lot of wandering around into different rooms trying to find, okay, what is the clue of what I need to do next?
Yeah.
There was just, like in the very beginning, there was this part where you had to go to a fair in the town.
Okay.
And I'm just walking around this place having no idea what I need to do, and I'm just trying to talk to everyone and figure something out.
Yeah.
Finally, got to the point where, okay, I have a sense of what I need to do. Later on in the game, same kind of stuff happens. It's just like, all right, I've gone to every place imaginable. I cannot find what I need to do. And then I've actually used an FAQ, a walkthrough. I'm like, where do I go? And they're like, go into the cathedral and play the organ, and that will open up a secret passage to the right.
Right.
So it's
something
like
really obvious like that.
But you know what? I appreciate it, though.
Yeah.
Like now, and especially now that I know. At first, I was kind of like, I hate this. I want some hand holding, and now I enjoy it. I like the combat. I like the graphics. And I'll see where the story goes. I'm not quite sure where it's going yet, but you're bouncing through time, and it's pretty cool. Like it looks cool. I'm sensing like parallel universes and stuff like that, and it's a nice old game.
I do enjoy that experience of like not having your hand held through things. As long as like especially in those story-driven games, if there is that feeling of like, oh yeah, like that makes sense why I should do this. Like once you do figure it out, if it does take a little bit of effort to like talk to a few people and then you can kind of piece it together and it makes sense, then that's great. Like I'm all about it.
Yeah, but then I think everything depends on the frustration level.
Yeah, like I mean, you talk about going to FAQ and like or NFAQ and figuring it out like that. But then, like, games like Gabriel Knight, I might have talked about it before, but, like, they just got to a point where it's like, you have to talk to this hot dog vendor and then this girl across town, and then, like, it just didn't make sense why you were doing that. And that's the point where I'm like, all right, that's dumb. Like,
well, I had a moment where I kind of figured I have to go back to this canyon. And I'm like, there is nothing in this canyon. Well, there was one person I didn't talk to, one room I didn't go into, and talk to them. That would then trigger whatever would happen so I could go to the canyon. Okay. So, that was something that was frustrating. It was like, I don't know what to do at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of taking it for what it is now, and I think, just playing it for that, knowing, all right, these kind of little roadblocks are going to be here. I think I will enjoy it.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And I think the JRPGs are longer, so I think this will be one that I kind of wish I had Ni no Kuni on my Vita, is what I'm saying, because it's easier for me to just pick up and start playing. Like before I go to sleep, I have a half hour to an hour that I can put in, so that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. And I totally agree. Like, I much prefer, I think that's why Pokemon works so well, is because it is on, like, the handheld games. And it is that sort of, like, JRPG style where you have to stop and go through the combat. For some reason, that really lends itself well to being
Yeah.
on the go.
Yeah, and I think Ni no Kuni is on the 3DS. I thought it was
Yeah.
originally on the 3DS. I'll have to double check that, but yeah. So, but I don't want to replay all the time I have into it. I
Yeah.
really like it though. I played a little bit of that also, and
Hmm.
it's a really good game.
Cool.
I enjoy it. Also, then the last big thing that I played this week, Mario Golf World Tour. Picked that up from a
Yes.
3DS. Which I may be picking up Bravely Default also.
Oh.
All this JRPG talk.
Oh,
Can't help.
yeah.
I'm
Do
gonna
it.
do that. Yeah,
looking
Mario
forward.
Golf World Tour came out for the 3DS I think this last week, and or last Friday, I think it was. And it's a golf game.
Yeah.
It's a cartoony golf game.
Yeah. You told me it's a pretty big game, too. I had no idea.
Yeah, I think it's got some good fans. Like people love it. I know I've been keeping track on IGN. They do a lot of little tournament stuff between all of their the journalists there, and
Yeah.
it's actually really well done.
Hmm.
They did it. It seems like Nintendo's woes are making them kind of wake up a little bit
Yeah.
to what we want in
Yeah.
the games. We love the content they put in there, like the gameplay and all that stuff, but it's like put some options in the game. Something that we can customize things. And this
It's
one
2014
is loaded.
Nintendo. Come on.
Yeah. This one is loaded with options.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, as far as setting up like online play,
Mhm.
just all the features that you can put together. I want to have this type of match. Whether it's yesterday, Tim and I, Tim Austin, that's on the show sometimes. We played a couple of online rounds. We played one that was just like just regular stroke play, where 9 holes. Hey, that's not supposed to be funny.
Sorry. I'm just immature.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And so we just played 9 holes. I was impressed that you don't sit there and wait for the other person to go through their 9 holes.
Yeah.
Like in golf, the person that is furthest away from the pin, gets the first swing at it.
Right.
You don't have to wait in order. So we were both.
Okay.
It was kind of like you're playing with a ghost almost.
Sure.
So you kind of see this ball, this ghost ball with some that was kind of like see-through, and that was it. And so we got through 9 holes super quick because we were both just playing at the same time.
Yeah. Keeps the pace of the game up nice.
Yeah, and it's just like once he gets done with the hole, he has to wait for me to finish the hole.
Right.
And then you move on to the next hole.
That's not that bad though.
And then we also played I think it was like points, and that's whoever wins the hole gets a point.
Okay.
And within those, there are different options. Like you can change the wind, you can where you tee off from, just all different kind of little features and things that you can tweak for setting up the round of golf. And that's just not very typical of Nintendo for that kind of stuff. It's just like you play, and they're going to set it up, and you're going to play their way.
Right. So how many iterations is this for their Mario Golf series?
Mario Golf started on the Nintendo, I know, so
Way back.
yeah, I think they've had one every system
Oh, okay.
for sure. So and then plus handhelds. So I'm not sure. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I like Hot Shots golf, that style of that arcade golf. I like when there's rainbows coming out of my ball
Okay.
if I make a nice shot.
Sure.
And I enjoy that more so than like a simulator like
Like Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's really well done. There's tons of tournament stuff you can do, set up tournaments like that are you're playing against just other people that sign up for these tournaments. They have almost like it's a season that you sign up for a golf tournament, and you have by May 15th to sign up to play this tournament.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot of that community stuff too, which is just it's old hat for some other things, but the fact that it's finally being like introduced into this Nintendo stuff is kind of exciting. Because it's fun. It's well done. It's you can't deny that Nintendo, as far as the crafting that goes into their gameplay, they deliver quality products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think I'm sort of the opposite. Like, I can play a game about something that's not really that interesting to me, or like initially I'm not that interested, like a Tiger Woods golf game, or like we've talked about like in Forza or Gran Turismo, where it has that sort of like RPG element to something that I wouldn't necessarily be interested in, and it can get me into that. So I prefer a game like Tiger Woods as opposed to like an arcadey style. But I can enjoy those arcade games from time to time.
I think one thing that I was having fun with last night, I was playing. They have challenges, and to unlock, there's a couple of courses that you can unlock if you complete so many challenges. So basically, the challenges direct you through the course, and you have to hit certain style of shot, and then still get par on the course.
Yeah.
So some of it is rings. So I have to get the ball through these rings on the course, and then still sink my putt in par, to actually acquire a coin.
Okay.
Or one particular one, there's a coin in the air somewhere on the course.
Yeah.
And I have to use a certain type of club to get it to hit that coin. Like I was at one point where the coin was lower, and I may have used an iron typically, but I ended up using a driver because a driver goes straight and low versus the iron that has a lot of height to it. So that's kind of, I had fun with that stuff too. Helps you unlock some courses. There's little special power-up things in the courses too that I like. Now, Tim did not like the fact, something that you mentioned, some of the older Mario series do have some of those RPG elements where the more you play, you can make the players better.
Okay, yeah.
And so Mario might be really good at this, and if you keep playing, you can add these points to make him better at these things. And that element is not there. I'm not sure about the Mii, though, because we can play with our Miis. So I'm not sure if there is that RPG element to the Mii, because we both look kind of just like your halfway average player. So I'm wondering if there's more to it there.
So you just played as like Mario and Luigi or something?
No, we played as our Miis.
You played as your Miis, okay.
Yeah. The other thing that is kind of funny, though, is, Hearthstone has those expressions, canned expressions that you can select.
Yeah.
Well, this one has little buttons that you can hit. So it makes your Mii is in the lower right-hand corner, and a word bubble will pop up, and it will either be like, it'll show an animation for a golf clap, or if you're tooting your own horn, a horn will show up.
Yeah.
You can do this in their backswing.
I was going to say, hopefully you can do that as part of the psychological game.
Yeah, and
That's
so
awesome.
it's kind of funny. There's 9 different ones you can choose from. So Tim and I were kind of, distracting each other in our shots.
Can you do the same, like squelch somebody if they're really getting on your nerves?
I did not look. I'll have to see if you can squelch them. The only thing is, Nintendo, get rid of the friend codes. Those are obnoxious.
Yeah, that's gross.
I put Tim's friend code in, and he has to manually put my friend code in. And
which is 12, like 3 numbers, right?
12 numbers.
Yeah.
It's 3. Yeah. So it's not like I can put it in and then he can accept the request or something. That would be less annoying, but whatever.
I feel sort of like that's Nintendo.
Well, I can appreciate where they're coming from as far as sometimes it seems like there's a family element to it that they're trying to, because you've gotten friend requests on Xbox and PlayStation and stuff from people. You can get messages from people that I've played Madden and pissed somebody off, and then they end up sending me a message like, filled with cuss words.
Right.
So that kind of stuff. I think they are trying to work around that, but I think there's better ways.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there could be like defaults to just block everything unless you allow it or something.
Yeah,
but
just like Facebook or whatever. You post, only friends can see this.
Yeah.
Only allow messages from friends or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
How about you? What you been playing this week?
I have been continuing to play Civ 5 quite a bit, and still that one game that I've been playing with my friends here, with the two guys, and we're getting much further along. I'm still not doing terrible, so I still have like a vested interest in the game. I'm not getting bored and just watching CSI the whole time.
Game?
Yeah, but it is so far maybe like half as long or half as much time as we put into the previous game.
How many hours?
Maybe 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still,
not
wow,
too bad.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, like, last night there was some weird lag happening, and that was definitely a big contributor to it just taking friggin' forever.
Forever.
Yeah, like, the problem with Civilization is, like, you can get through the first, like, quarter of the game, like, fairly rapidly, because you don't have to really make a lot of, like, in-depth decisions. You pretty much know what you got to do next turn, like, put people wherever. But once it starts to get toward the end and you really have to, like, start thinking about trade agreements and, like, the World Congress is there and you got to put delegates in certain spots, like, even if there's zero lag with 3 humans playing the game, it still takes a bit of time.
Yeah, I bet.
So, but it's still fun, and like I said, I'm not doing horrible, so I feel like I have a chance to not fail. So it's keeping my attention.
Do they have like a setup that you can play that is only 5 hours long?
There are a ton of options for setting up the game. I'm not sure. I know you can set like the number of turns, so you could probably set it fairly low, and then I think we max out at like 330 turns, and we're maybe at 190, 200, something like that.
I've played the board game, and it's very good. I recommend it. If anybody likes tabletop games, get the Civilization game, but it is long.
Yeah.
I think they put it at 90 minutes per person playing.
Okay.
So if you got 3 at the table, it's, 270 minutes.
Sure. Look at you, math whiz.
I hope I panicked for a little bit. For a half second, I was like, I'm just going to throw this number out there, and I hope it's right.
I don't know. I don't even know.
So it's really good. And you go through like what feels like an actual Civ game in board game form. But any longer than that, I'm going to puke.
But you said that you used to play it with Brittany quite a bit.
Yeah, but that was long, and that was really pushing it. We had all the time in the world, and I think it would be tough going much beyond 5 hours in a multiplayer game. Like, wow, this is, a whole week goes, because you will get to that point where you're no longer in the game, and you're just going through the motions, waiting for the next game. Yeah. I would hate to be 6 hours into a game and know that I'm completely out of it, and then I still have 4 hours to go.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why I hated the last game we were playing. Like, we're all fairly close on our point values, and we'll go up and down, but, like, none of us are really pulling ahead so far that it's like there's no way you can bring it back.
Like, I would say 4 or 5 hours, that'd be enough time that I didn't feel like I wasted, a ton of time.
Yeah. And the funny thing is they were telling me, like, because they played quite a bit together before I joined them, is like they've maybe finished one game,
Oh.
like, because they get to a point and they're like, let's just start a new one. And so they just start.
That sounds fun.
So hopefully we'll finish this one.
All right. How about Child of Light? You played a little more Child of Light?
Yeah, so I've got about 5 or 6 hours into Child of Light now, and
wow.
I've gotten through like 2 or 3 of like the major bosses through the story.
I beat one boss.
Yeah.
The first boss that you then acquire your ability.
Yes.
That you
which
don't
is really
have.
cool.
Yes.
Makes you, yeah.
It's not a spoiler. Everyone has said it. Eventually you can fly.
Yeah.
So.
Which her hair actually looks really cool. It works like perfectly for flight because it's all wavy and looks like she's underwater all the time. So yeah, I've been playing that a lot. The one thing that sort of really bugs me is it's set up like half of an RPG. You don't get like sort of. I don't need all the nitty gritty, but like I would like to see some sort of like health of the other creatures that you're battling, or like you do get stats like how much damage an attack will do, but you don't know what that means in terms of like how much they have left.
Right.
And I think that's pretty rare to not see what the HP of your opponent is.
It's real
in
life
RPG. Yeah, they're just trying to be real.
When you're beating someone to a bloody pulp, you don't see how much life they have left.
You just watch it.
You just watch it drain from their eyes.
It'll be over soon.
We're talking about murder on UPH show, everybody.
Welcome to Creepy Episode. So I think like that's sort of getting on my nerves. The longer you play, like there are some things like that where I wish they put a little bit more time into. But it's still fun, and
I love the combat. I love that combat system.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it adds a little more interactivity, like while you're doing stuff.
I'm actually wondering if there is a straight up RPG that has that combat system, because I'd really like to play something like that.
Like that timing kind of thing?
Yeah. Because it's and just because if you time your attacks just right, you interrupt their attacks.
Right.
And so they get pushed back on the timeline again, and they have to wait before they can attack. And I like that a lot. That is cool.
Yeah.
It feels very interactive. So I just wondered, if there's an RPG out there that is like that, I'd like to play it.
Yeah. Now, have you had anybody try and be like the second player? It's barely even a second player. You get to control the Firefly. Igniculus,
I have not.
If you plug in a second controller.
I have not.
So yeah.
Have you?
I'm curious. No.
I'm curious can't imagine like to move that character and
that's what I mean. Like, if you would like to take the role of a pointer or a cursor and move it around the screen. No.
I do, however, like when I'm working throughout the day, I have someone just be my cursor proxy.
Yeah. All right, click on that. All right, good. Now that one. Now that. Double click that.
Yeah. It's not very efficient.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would be. It's still fun, and I can't imagine it's a super long game because it was pretty cheap coming right out for $15.
Yeah.
And so yeah, continuing on with that, and also this week I played Shadowrun Returns for the PC.
I like this game a lot.
Yeah. It's super fun, made by the same people who did XCOM, the new XCOM game.
Shadowrun.
And Shadowrun. Probably the more popular XCOM game, the new one.
Yeah.
And it is a turn-based strategy, and it's in this... It's not steampunk. It's like in the future, and there are cyberpunk, there you go. there are meta creatures which have been discovered fairly recently, I guess. And there are like elves and dwarves and trolls. Is there another orcs?
Dorks, more like it.
Dorks, yeah. Boom. And it's got a really cool art style. And it's yeah, like I think I like the combat better because I played XCOM first before I played any of this. But it does play very similarly. Like you have to find cover and try and get line of sight on people. And that was the one thing that sort of bugged me is it's hard to figure out line of sight at times. Like I can't tell which things are going to block people from shooting me or not. But aside from that, like it's super fun. It's very story driven. I was thinking it was going to be more just like you go back to a base, like basically in XCOM, you go back to your base, you figure stuff out, and then you go on a mission, and then you do that. But this is like you go from one spot to the next, and throughout that, then you get put into combat situations.
How does it compare to Banner Saga?
God, I'm trying to remember. I haven't played it in so long. Banner Saga seems much more like a game, like a board game, sort of.
Okay, so the combat it goes to like a board game combat scenario.
Yeah, because Banner Saga is like you're on this square grid and you're very limited in where you can go. But this is much more laid out. Like you've got corridors and like you go through up and down building levels, stuff like that. Okay. So it feels a little more open. But yeah, super fun. I think I don't know how long I've got into it now, but I'm playing a mage, and but yeah, it's cool. They don't, like you were talking about hand holding earlier. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Like right in the beginning, like the first thing, I was like, oh, okay, here's the tutorial part. They're like 3 years ago, and they jump into this spot where you've got to figure out combat. They're like, okay, great. Now read your PDA and figure it out. Like that's it. Like they give you a couple tips right in the beginning, but they do not tell you what to do. But it's okay. Like it's not so complex that you can't go through and figure out those few things, those few mechanics, and some of the stats you have to know to figure it out. Okay.
I actually originally had it on my iPad, and I think the implementation, it's really well done. As far as the touch controls, they did a good job with the graphics and things like that. But overall, then it was an experience that I decided I'd rather play this on PC. I think just because I loved the art style so much that I wanted to see it the way it was meant to be seen originally.
Yeah.
And the frame rate was lower too.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of just like that overall experience. I was like, I think I want the real deal, the full blown experience on the PC. Right. But if just experiencing the gameplay and those kind of things are enough for you, playing on the iPad is definitely worth it. I mean, it's a great iPad implementation of a solid RPG game.
Yeah.
I think it's a good game.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I actually picked up the deluxe edition. It was on sale on Steam.
Does that come with the soundtrack?
Yeah, which I really love the music in that.
Yeah,
it's good. It fits the game perfectly.
Now, when the iPad version first came out, there was no music. There was a glitch that the music wasn't playing, so it was really awkward. Because there aren't a ton of sound effects in this game, and so it was just like a couple of clicks, a couple of bleeps, and I'm like, really wow.
Yeah.
The atmosphere in this game is
lacking.
Leaves something to be desired.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely recommend anybody who likes the turn-based strategy games definitely check out Shadowrun Returns.
Sweet. Well, everybody, it is time for news. All right, everybody. Today's news is brought to you by Unhappy Campers.
There you go.
The obligatory Unhappy Campers plug. You can find it on youtube.com/unhappycampersmovie. Watch it today.
That was good.
Hey. Oh, so let's see what's going on in the news this week.
What do we got? Oh, wait, sorry, I gotta say, we are up to almost, I'm gonna round up, almost 43,000.
Yeah,
That's a lot of views.
It's cruising. It's gonna be 50K pretty soon.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. So, Valve pulls Earth Year 2066 from Steam and refunds everyone's monies that bought the game. This is an early access game, and it was early access garbage. So much so that Steam feels that they were dishonest about, what the actual elements of the game contained, the features and all that stuff. So that's pretty big news, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Steam has basically no return policy at this point.
Correct.
And for everyone who bought this, they said, we will happily return your money. You have until May 19th to say, this game blows, give me my money back.
And they've also pulled the game from Steam. It cannot be sold on Steam.
Yeah.
Now, I hope that Steam is not taking a hit from this. I hope that it is not Steam. I hope that it is the douches that put this game out.
Yeah, I really hope they're not penalized for that.
Because this was obviously a scam.
Right.
Aaron Bishop, the studio head that put out this game, looks like he was involved in a Kickstarter scam for a game called Lords of Uber Dark. And it achieved its funding in 2011 but never came out.
Oh, that's fun.
So
sounds like a real swell guy.
Yeah. This is big news. Yeah, I agree. I think it will lead to Valve coming out with their return policy. Now, before anybody says, you can't have a return policy for digital items, there is already a precedent for return policies on digital items.
Yeah. Very, like, Android market has had one for quite some time.
And the much maligned Origins has one.
Yeah.
Origins
They're very generous, too.
Origins is annoying that it exists because I would prefer just to have one, interface, DRM interface, which is Steam. Steam is very generous. We get to buy games super cheap. I'd rather just use them, but then everybody wants to get on the bandwagon, and they're like, hey, we're going to have our own digital storefront too, /DRM. And Origin has a return policy that you can return the game within 24 hours of launching the software, and that has to be within 7 days of your purchase of the software. That seems
Which is
very
super generous. Yeah.
Yes. Seems super generous. You'll get a response within 48 hours, and your refund will be activated within 10 days.
No questions asked, they'll just do it?
I did not go through the request form for the refund. You do have to meet refund criteria, which I'm not sure if that is the refunds may not be supported where Electronic Arts detects fraud or abuse of the refund process. So that kind of gives them the right to investigate a refund.
Sure.
Because, well, like you and I talked about, there could be some dude that's like, hey, I'm going to play a 10 to 12 hour game, beat it within my 24 hours. I'm just going to binge on this game and then return the game.
Yeah, that
And
game was dumb.
yeah, that game was dumb. I got my whole 12 hours worth and beat it and didn't like. I was not satisfied with the ending. So
Yeah. Give me my money.
I think those are probably the kind of things that they're going to review before they decide.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's cool that Steam has a very open policy for their indie developers, and I hope that that doesn't change. But like we said, like they're gonna have to start implementing some sort of return policy.
Yeah, I
Something
agree.
will have to be put in place because this kind of thing is going to happen again. It's just a matter of when.
I just there are some trashy people that exist in this world.
Yeah.
I think the people that straight up come up with schemes to, rip people off like that, they're some of the worst scum of the earth.
Yeah. That was gross.
Let's get them.
$19.99 for crap.
Get your torches. Get your pitchforks. Let's go get them. All right. Moving on from that.
Something a little
Pokemon
less depressing.
Alpha, Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. So this is the Sapphire and Ruby games that were originally launched. Those Pokemon games.
Yeah.
You like the Pokemon.
I've heard of it.
They're making some remakes.
Yeah.
They're going to develop some remakes of Sapphire and Ruby. They will be called Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. The beginning and the end of Pokemon.
Oh, love
Well,
it.
Probably not really, but
Pokemon is done, folks.
these are going to be full-blown remakes of much loved Pokemon games. Are you excited about this?
I'm curious if that means just like I mean, I didn't actually play these, so it would be new for me.
Okay.
But like for people who have played this, is this just going to be a rehash of the world or like a 3D development of the exact same world? Or like what does that mean, like a full remake?
Yeah, that's kind of vague. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would say what we think a full remake is new graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It could be, it could be just HDified.
Right. They're
It
like, hey, we turned
could-
all of those Pokemon into 3D characters. We made the world 3D, but it's basically the same game.
Yeah.
In 3D.
I'm going to assume that it's going to be basically the same game in 3D, but it might have some of the newer, if there's been some features or something introduced in some of the newer games, it would probably include those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Pokemon is not, they don't shy away from just making a new version. I mean, I guess it does make it a little bit easier on them to just say, hey, just take these maps and slap some 3D in there and call it good.
Yeah, I think this is something that people have really clamored for, that they've requested enough that, I mean, obviously they think they're going to make some money then,
Sure.
because that's the only
Yeah, it
reason
must
they
be.
do that.
I really do like Pokemon, but I don't follow along. I haven't purchased all the games or anything like that. So
I thought we agreed that we were going to call the game Pocket Monster from now on.
that is the true name of it.
I really like Pocket Monster.
What are you talking about?
Gotta catch them all. Speaking of Nintendo, they're losing a crap load of money.
Yay!
They reported a 200 what?
Sorry.
They reported a $229 million loss.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And Wii U estimates are down by 60%.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad. It's not surprising news. It's too bad that it's happening.
It's not surprising news. I think there were just too many missteps with the Wii U. You know what, though? Wii U satisfaction is high.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Wii U. I like playing it. I like the games. But it just doesn't appeal to people, and I understand why.
Yeah.
It's like, what is Wii U? It's how is it different than the Wii? Is what
Right.
maybe the casual gamers are going to ask.
Mm-hmm. So
And
I have a
why would I get that
question.
for my kids?
Yeah. They think that the biggest thing they need to do is differentiate themselves. And part of that is pushing the gamepad real hard. Like that's what differentiates it from the other systems is having this nice fancy big screen gamepad, and that's what they think is really going to do it for them. Do
I
you
disagree.
agree, or do you
I
think that it's just like they got it in there like, look, we got to figure out a way to sell this thing now that it's out?
I agree and I disagree. I agree they need to differentiate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They are not Microsoft. They are not Sony. They do not have the same games on their platforms, and I don't think they should. I
Right.
think they should. You buy a Wii U for Nintendo games. You do not buy a Wii U to play Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from that, aspect, yes, they need to differentiate themselves from, hey, these are the types of games you're going to get on here, and you're not going to get them anywhere else.
Yeah.
That gamepad is dumb. And I think that is the reason the Wii U is suffering, and I think everybody knows it, and they need to get rid of it, because that thing's like $150.
Mm-hmm.
If you took that off the system, you could sell the Wii U for $200.
Right.
And everyone loves them some Mario Kart. That's coming out the end of this month. I'm going to get it. I love Mario Kart. It's a lot of fun. They're doing the same thing they did with Mario Golf. It's going to have tons of features that you can customize the types of, the tracks that you're playing on. You can customize the items that are going to be in the match.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do that stuff before.
Yeah.
Now you can. I don't want to have that stupid blue shell in my games that's going to knock out the person in first place.
Yeah.
It's not the gamepad. The gamepad is dumb, and it's just preventing people from buying it. It's $150 in the way.
Right. Yeah, I think that the gamepad is not going to be the thing that sells it to people. And I think you're right, but I also think you're right in the fact that, like, yes, they have to have their Nintendo library that for people who really love, like, all the Mario games, all the Zelda stuff, like all that classic Nintendo stuff, they can get their fix. But at the same time, I think that they're doing themselves a disservice by maybe not including some of the, like you're saying, like Call of Duty, stuff like that. They could grab a piece of that market as well. If they said, look, we can get this cheaper system and we can get the Wii U version of it. I don't know how many of those titles are available on the Wii U or even on the Wii, like how much cross-platform they did.
Call of Duty came out on the Wii, and it was terrible.
Okay.
And
because of the controls or what?
Because of the motion controls, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, the graphics were behind what was out there already.
Right.
Too. It was a not very powerful machine.
Yeah.
Now, the Wii U pumps out some pretty graphics. I think that they need some third-party titles, but they need third-party titles that are different from what's out there. I don't think they're going to be able to steal people away and say, we want you to play Call of Duty on the Wii U. I don't think they're ever going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they just totally changed the system and changed the types of systems that they put out. They've never really been known for putting out very super powerful systems that are like, we're going to blow all this other technology away.
Right.
And unless they do that and really get into that hardcore gamer, I don't think they're ever going to pull someone away to buy Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not give different experiences then? Even that Plants vs. Zombies first-person shooter that came out. Those kind of things. Put some family-friendly... be the family-friendly system. I'm cool with that. I think that's what the market needs. We've got the adult systems, and, kids play those too. Sure. But Nintendo can be Disney for video games.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I'm pretty sure I could buy a Nintendo, buy any Nintendo game, and it's going to be family friendly. I'm not going to have to be worried about, Mario dropping an F-bomb.
Right. And if that is the case, then I wish Mario would drop some F-bombs, by the way. But I think that then definitely they need to not focus on putting expensive hardware in there and just be like, make this as cheap as we can, but like somewhat comparable in like making the graphics look good enough. And like putting out, like you said, like a $200, like sub $200 system. That's where they're gonna get the families. That's where they're gonna get the parents that don't want to spend, $400 or $500 on a system. Like, yeah, we'll put 150 to $200 on a game system, but we're not going to spend that much on this one.
I think they need to do what Sony did, require that anybody that develops games on the system, they have to make it so it can have remote play. That's it. So if anybody has the gamepad or anybody wants to buy the gamepad, they can use the gamepad for remote play. Because it's pretty cool for that. I like that.
Sure.
Other than that, though, no, it's not that cool. It's just like a DS. It's a DS touchscreen, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think there's just a few things that I think they could still turn the Wii U around. I think Mario Kart is big enough that they're probably going to get more sales than they expect now. I think they're underestimating what they will sell this year because they have to. I think Mario Kart will sell some systems. Because it looks amazing and the buzz it's really good. It's one of the best Mario Karts.
Okay.
But I think what they need to do, drop the gamepad, throw in a Pro controller, beef up the virtual console and stop trickling these little titles out one by one.
Right.
And drop the system's price down to $200. I bet tons of people will buy that as their second system.
Yeah. Do you think that that's realistic though? If they've pushed games so much to like really make that gamepad like integral to the experience of the game, like do you think that will happen?
I don't think they'll do it. No. Obviously we need to differentiate ourselves with this gamepad. It's not though. I mean, other systems do it and they do it in a different way that's better that doesn't force you to buy a second screen.
Yeah.
The PS4 does it. You don't have to buy the Vita. You can buy the Vita if you want that additional benefit or feature, but you don't have to. So I think that's it. They won't do it though. I mean, because they think the gamepad is the cat's pajamas. And it's cool, but it's not. It's a roadblock right now. It's something preventing people from buying the system.
Sure.
Because nobody cares about second screens. It's something we take for granted. So trying to tell us that this second screen isn't this amazing and it's going to change the way you play games? No, it's not. We all have our phones and our iPads and stuff, and we don't want this giant piece of play school plastic to play video games.
Speak for yourself, Dan.
All right, moving on. Our last story. We just wanted to talk about Borderlands. This Telltale game, Borderlands, Tales from Borderlands, is coming out this summer. I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I was sort of shocked to see that this was a thing.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. It's not one that you would think, hey, that'd be a great adventure game. But really, Borderlands has this cult following. I mean, people love Borderlands, and they love the story and the characters, and so I'm curious enough that I'll get it. I'll at least get the first episode and play through it.
Yeah. I mean, we both like the Telltale games, and I didn't really get into the first Borderlands, but I really liked Borderlands 2. And it is a cool world. It's weird, but it's really cool. And I'd be interested to see sort of more of this adventure game in that world.
Yeah, and I'm going to take this moment then to say that there needs to be a Star Wars Telltale game.
Ooh.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be
in the prequels as Jar Jar.
All right, everybody, let's go with the retro game of the week. right, everybody. This week's retro game is Burger Time for the Intellivision. Yeah, that's right. Burger Time. Have you played Burger Time?
I did not. I heard of it. I never played it, though.
You hear these sound effects? Sweet
yeah.
sound effects.
I watched the video. It looks amazing. It actually does look kind of fun.
It is really fun. I loved it. It's kind of freaky, though. This game freaked me out when I played it. Little, like, fried eggs following you around.
Yeah.
And
like hot dog things? I don't know what those were.
It was hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
I think there's hot dogs and cheese, and there's pepper and ketchup and mustard and all that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You're just going across platforms, and I don't know what you're doing to the burgers. You're stepping on them to get them to the platform below.
It's a little weird.
Trying to stack burgers. And it's kind of dumb, but it's really fun. And I'm surprised that this isn't a game that's somehow made a comeback.
Right.
You know, I remember playing this on my Intellivision. You know, you had the inserts that you had to put down into the Intellivision controller.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I don't.
It also had the disc, like a touch disc thing, and blah, blah, blah. It was fun. Retro Game of the Week. All right, everybody, that brings us to the end of Unbelievable Power Hour for this week. It's time for closers and plugs.
All right. Wait, are we going to give away anything this week or no?
Yes.
Yeah?
Outlast, horror game, fun.
Oh,
It'll be on Twitter. Reply. You'll get a chance to win. Closers and plugs.
Now, if you want to email us, do it at podcast@uphshow.com.
Hi, I'm Dan DeHaan, and my Twitter handle is @DeHaan78. Except I'm reading the wrong line. UPH's Twitter handle is UPH Show, @UPH.
There we go. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/UPH Show.
You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher or your favorite podcatcher. Please do. Rate, review us, share us with friends. Spread the word. UPH.
And check us out on Steam. We got a group called Unbelievable Power Hour.
I'll plug myself a second time. DanDeHaan.com, @DanDeHaan78 on Twitter.
There you go. I'm AaronWiesinger.com and @AWiesinger on Twitter.
And finally, everybody, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We've got a ton of great content.
We do. A ton of videos.
We're going to be putting up some co-op videos this weekend. Going to play a little Monaco together.
Tomorrow.
It's like an extra episode of Unbelievable Power Hour.
It is.
You can find us at youtube.com/UPH Show. That brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you very much for listening. Bye now.
Bye-bye.